Coming up on this week's edition of the Racehorse Digest, the fillies dominate the colts as Serena's Song becomes the first distaller in history to capture the $500,000 Haskell Invitational. Super trotting filly CRK Susie wins again at the Meadowlands on her way to the $1 million Hambletonian. And we'll have those stories plus an attempt at 15 wins in a row by quarter horse High's Royal Request. And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. We're glad you've joined us for our weekly recap of horse racing. Let's begin with a couple of headline stories. The Thoroughbred Racing Associations, consisting of 46 racing associations operating 39 racetracks in the United States and Canada, has closed its national office in New York City. TRA President Cliff Goodrich and Commissioner Brian McGrath made the joint announcement. Goodrich expressed his disappointment, saying, quote, "The effectiveness of the national office was severely compromised by an inability among the membership to forge agreement on a national direction." Brian McGrath added, "I'm very disappointed that the goals and objectives initially envisioned for the national office will not be pursued. The TRA's national office will close August 31st. Well, there was nothing more frightening on the backstretch of a racetrack than fire. And a fire broke out early Monday morning at Ellis Park in Henderson, Kentucky. It killed 27 thoroughbreds. The fire was contained to Ellis Park's Barn 10. Only one person, a groom, was slightly injured. Ellis Park canceled its Tuesday race card and then reopened on Wednesday. They're still trying to find a cause for the blaze.
We haven't ruled out anything at this point. We're still looking at an accidental fire. We haven't been able to rule out any accidental causes at this point. And, you know, I had a report earlier today that the fire was suspicious. I don't know where that was generated from, but at this point, we're not calling it suspicious fire by any means because we, as I say, are just getting into that aspect of the investigation.
Again, the death toll, 27 thoroughbreds. The early Monday morning fire at Ellis Park came 10 years to the day after the devastating fire in Chicago that destroyed the Arlington Park grandstand. Okay, let's get to the races now. We'll begin with the start of the Racing to the Breeders' Cup Series on ESPN, presented by Buick. It's the Haskell Invitational at Monmouth Park, Grade 1, $500,000 for 3-year-olds at 1 1/8 miles. Let's take a look at a big field now. Pat and Jack was scratched. Big prices on the 2 and 3. Then we have big prices, 4, 5, and 6. Wild Sin, of course, won the Bluegrass. City getting supported 7-2. Kingdom City at 6. There's your favorite. Gary Stevens riding the filly Serena's Song at 3-2. Rounded out with Pyramid Peak, Jealous Crusader, and Suave Prospect. Now the call from Larry Comas at Monmouth.
They're off and running in the Haskell. And Serena's Song bounced off with speed between horses. John and Pat is also alert from the gate, and Reality Road is out well between them. It's going to be John and Pat, somewhat unexpectedly here to set the pace. Reality Road is racing in second, and Serena's Song's going to be caught wide going into that clubhouse turn. Mighty McGee saves all the ground. Wild Sin is right there. Citadine racing 3 wide is only 4 lengths off the lead. They're tightly packed. Then it's Blue Tismani, followed by Pyramid Peak. Suave Prospect and Jealous Crusader are next. And Kingdom City, he's given them a head start here. He's 12 off the lead. The pace is fast. They went 22 and 3. And Gary Stevens makes his move with Serena's Song now. He's on the outside of Reality Road. And these two are matching strides on the lead with Citadine 3 wide and 3rd. Wild Sin is 4th between horses. John and Pat back to 5th down at the rail. Mighty McGee is 6th, 5 lengths off the lead. Then it's 2 back to Pyramid Peak. Suave Prospect. Blue Tismani is 10 lengths back, and he's dropping out of contention now. Kingdom City starting to roll from behind, but he's got a lot of work to do. Then it's Jealous Crusader. 46 flat for the half, and there she goes. Serena's Song takes the lead. Opens up by 2 on the turn, and now she's 3 on top, and she will take some catching. Racing in second position is Citadine, and Pyramid Peak is making his run on the outside, but Serena's Song is in command here. She went 3/4 in 1, 10 and 2, and Gary Stevens is riding Serena's Song to a winning effort in the Haskell. It's going to be the filly over the board, but now Pyramid Peak is coming on. Serena's Song, she's going to have just enough left, and Serena's Song
Well, just as she did in the Jim Beam Stakes this spring, the brilliant filly Serena's Song beats the boys, winning the Haskell under jockey Gary Stevens by 3/4 of a length. $150,000 Keeneland sale purchase in July of '93. Serena's Song, a daughter of Rahi, owned by Bob and Beverly Lewis, trained by D. Wayne Lucas. Take a look at the Equibase chart now. Complete order of finish and the margins behind the winner. And the comment line, will tell you that Serena's Song got a check of $300,000. The nation's top 3-year-old filly is now total over $1.8 million in career earnings. She is now the leading active female money winner. The Racehorse Digest is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember, Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By the American Quarter Horse Association, serving the American quarter horse racing industry and America's horse. And by Brookside Farms. Back on the Digest, and for this week's update from the harness racetrack, let's bring in Dave Johnson.
This Saturday afternoon, the Meadowlands will host harness racing's premier event, the $1.2 million Cadillac Hambletonian. And going into last week's Beacon Course Trot final, the question everyone was asking was, could any horse derail that speedball express of a filly named CRK Susie? Susie entered the Beacon Course final with a 4-race winning streak, including 3 straight victories where she simply dominated the supposedly stronger sex, beating the boys by a combined margin of 21 lengths. But this was to be her toughest test yet, as she was facing for the very first time King Pine, an impressive winner in consecutive starts. One colt Susie did not have to worry about was juvenile champion Donna Rail, who was abruptly retired last week by trainer Stanley Dancer after finishing a disappointing 3rd to King Pine in his Beacon Course elimination. After Susie got to the half in a leisurely 57 4/5, the race was all but over, and the 1-5 favorite opened up a commanding lead.
Campbell sends Tagliabue 3 wide from the back, but CRK Susie sprints off by 3.5. 3/4 and 1:26 and 3. 3/16 to go, and they're on their way home, and it's all CRK Susie. Rolling now, leads it by 5. Giant hit second, up on the outside. Tagliabue and King Pine in deep stretch. It's all CRK Susie. Another startling performance. She wins again easily by 3 in 1:54 and 1. Tagliabue up for second.
For Carl and Rod Allen, they could not have asked for a more perfect race, as Susie didn't have to break a sweat in what was little more than a training mile. The only unknown going into the 70th Hambletonian is how Susie will do racing 2 heats for the first time in her career, but that does not concern Rod Allen.
No, every time we've raced her and trained her, we do a heart rate on her, and she recovers remarkably fast, and I really don't think it'll make a difference. She recovers real well. As long as she stays quiet and doesn't get nerved up, I think we'll be in the ball game.
Have the Allens been surprised by how easily Susie has beaten the boys?
I have not. You know, I think that they're tough, but this filly's been quarters that I don't think no trotter's ever been, and because of the great speed she has, and the good horse Donna Rail, we were sorry to see him go. We would like to beat him out here and not this way, or like the opportunity to try anyway. The horses, I think, will be a lot different next week than they are this. Everybody was kind of prepping them here. They're testing the water here, so we'll see what happens next week.
The Allens have said in the past that the multiple world champion likes to show off her blazing speed, and they admitted that the world records are good for the sport. The question is, will Susie show off on Saturday with another world record in the Hambletonian?
I think in the daytime, if we get good weather and the fractions are right, I think she'll show off and maybe do something that's a little better than just average. But otherwise, we're just looking to win the race. You know, just looking to get that first place check. That's a pretty good size.
We don't want to pull the insides out of her just because she's willing. And so if the fractions are slow to the half, we definitely will not try that. If there's a battle up front for the half and they get down there quick, that puts us 3/4 different. Then it's a different story. But we have her well being ahead of the record, and she's got a long season yet. we have the International coming up following the Hamiltonian here, and so we're going to keep the brake on a little bit. We're not ready to drop the throttle yet.
The Allens said Susie has not yet shown everyone her best, predicting she'll trot the fastest mile in history before the season is over. So how can King Pine or Tagliabue or Giant Hit or anyone else stop Susie in Saturday's Hambletonian? Well, the Allens won't say.
I don't believe we're going to give them any ideas. We'll let them dream up their own.
Next week on the Digest, we'll see if the Allens and CRK Susie made it to the winner's circle once again. Not all eyes were focused on the Beacon Course Trot last Saturday night. In the $276,000 final of the Art Rooney Pace for 3-year-olds at Yonkers Raceway, it was the early speedster Village Connection just holding on at the wire over the even money favorite David's Pass. Owned and trained by Bill Wellwood, this was Village Connection's 6th victory in 12 starts and his first stakes win of the season.
One of the great mares ever in thoroughbred racing, Paseana, has been retired after suffering a torn suspensory ligament in her left front leg after she finished 5th in the recent Vanity Handicap at Hollywood Park. Owned by Sid and Jenny Craig, the Argentine-bred Paseana was trained by Hall of Famer Ron McAnally. She was thoroughbred racing's champion older mare in 1992, as she won the Breeders' Cup Distaff, and she won the title again in 1993. Paseana retires with 19 wins in 36 starts, earnings of over $3.1 million, just $92,632 short of Dan Smartley's leading female money-earning total in North America. Well, more thoroughbred racing now as we'll head to Saratoga in upstate New York for their Saturday feature for 3-year-olds, the mile and an eighth, $137,000 Jim Dandy. 3 horses in the Jim Dandy sent off at odds slightly more than 2-1, including the highly regarded Composer, the Nick Zito trained Star Standard, making his first start since the Preakness, and the actual favorite in the race, Hooley, on a 4-race win streak. Here's the call with Tom Durkin.
As they come to the top of the stretch, Composer, a threatening presence outside of Patton Jack. Hooley will not get it done today, and he is stopped abruptly. Star Standard won't do it either. Peruvian is 3rd. At the 8th pole, now Jerry Bailey is asking Composer for run, and he is indeed getting it. Composer is pulling away impressively here, leaving Patton Jack and the rest behind. Malthus advances to 3rd. It will be Composer who wins with style.
Composer, from the first crop of the champion Easy Goer, became his sire's first North American Stakes winner, taking the Jim Dandy here for owner Heinrich de Fiatkoski, trainer Billy Mott. The jockey red hot at Saratoga right now, Jerry Bailey. Composer had finished 2nd in the March 26th Tampa Bay Derby, 8th in the June 10th Belmont Stakes in his only prior stakes try. Took a Belmont allowance race by an impressive 11 lengths in his last outing July 7th and turned it on here to win the Jim Dandy. Saturday's main event at the Spa, one of racing's top turf races, the Grade 1 $250,000 Sword Dancer at a mile and a half. A lukewarm favorite at 3-1. Early times Manhattan winner Awad. The long shot on the lead, Carrie's Clown.
Carrie's Clown threatening to go wire to wire here. Carrie's Clown turning for home, still strong and on the lead. King's Theater trying to mount a bid. Awad continues a powerful and sustained rally on the outside and collars Carrie's Clown at the 8th pole. King's Theater looking for running room. Carrie's Clown digging down deep today. Carrie's Clown tenacious on the lead. Awad, a last surge. Here's the wire and a classy effort from Carrie's Clown.
Last year's runner-up in the Sword Dancer, Carrie's Clown, comes back a winner after finishing off the board in his last start, which happened to be last Monday's Daryl's Joy. That's right, all the 6-year-old son of Foolish Pleasure got was 5 days rest, but it was enough to win here by a neck-under jockey Michael Luzzi. The Sword Dancer breaks a 68-race losing string in New York for trainer P.G. Johnson, who says he'll appoint Carrie's Clown to the Arlington Million at the end of August in Chicago. This past Saturday and Sunday, the opening weekend where the turf meets the surf, Southern California's Old Del Mar. Saturdays feature the $150,000 San Diego Handicap at a mile and a 16th. Favorite at 6-5, Lumen Affair.
Bloomin' Affair is second. Rappan Boy now having to be asked third, and Lickertil Hill is 5 off them. At the top of the lane, Lucia Fever. Bloomin' Affair still scraping the paint and comes to take him on. Rappan Boy on the outside. Lickertil Hill did not do enough, but any one of the other three can win it. Rappan Boy on the outside. Bloomin' Affair down at the rail. Lucia Fever between them. Bloomin' Affair, Rappan Boy down to 2. Bloomin' Affair, Rappan Boy close, I think. Bloomin' Affair, Rappan Boy's right there. Lucia Fever third.
Well, after finishing second in the 1993 Breeders' Cup Juvenile de Bronco, then third to Gopher Gin in the 94 Kentucky Derby, Bloomin' Affair finally scores the first stakes win of his career for Hall of Fame trainer Jack Van Berg. $20,000 Keeneland September sale purchase piloted by Chris McCarron. Only the fourth win of Bloomin' Affair's 15-race career. Trainer Van Berg says this son of Dynafarm is finally right after overcoming several problems, and he should be tough in the August 13th $1 million Pacific Classic at Del Mar. Sunday sprinters featured at Del Mar in the 6-furlong $156,000 Bing Crosby Handicap. The race dominated by Eddie Delahousie and the Neil Drysdale trained Gold Land. A 4-year-old son of Gone West coming on the outside here trounces the field by 3.5 lengths. He covered the 6 panels in a blazing 108 flat. The first-time stakes winner trained by Drysdale for Prince Fod Salmon. The colt has now been on the board in 14 of his 21 starts. We'll head north now to Canada and to Sunday's feature at Fort Erie Racetrack. They played host to the second leg of the Canadian Triple Crown, the $203,000 Prince of Wales Stake at 1 mile and 3/16. The winner here, Karidashi, who finished 4th in the first leg of the Canadian Triple, the 1 1/4 Queen's Plate. Queen's Plate winner, Regal Discovery, would wind up second in this race, while the favorite in both the Plate and the Prince of Wales, Freedom Fleet, was 4th. Karidashi was ridden to victory by Larry Attard for trainer Barbara Minchell and Minchell Farms. He's by Bold Ruckus out of the mare Sharp Briar, and now an earner of more than $217,000. For our Breeders' Cup Horse of the Week, we'll take you back to Canada now. The $200,000 Woodbine Budweiser Breeders' Cup, July 23rd. It was at 1 1/8 on the turf into the stretch. Memories under jockey Shane Sellers, heading for a 3rd straight win. Memories, a 4-year-old filly bred in Ireland by Grangemore Stud, owned by Alvin Haynes and New Phoenix Stables. The daughter of Don't Forget Me is trained by Burke Kessinger Jr. Now 4 for 8. Memories added $125,340, including $60,000 because she is eligible for the Breeders' Cup program. Take a look now at some upcoming races for the Breeders' Cup, a special and a premium stake race. The longest winning streak in quarter horse racing was on the line this past weekend at Ruidoso Downs, New Mexico. Pie's Royal Request trying for his 15th straight win. The 4-year-old gelding has been unbeaten since finishing 4th in the West Texas Derby. That's more than 15 months ago. In his toughest test during this streak, Pie's Royal Request faced 9 others in the Grade 2 440-yard World Championship Classic. One of his opponents, the multiple stakes winning mare, Special Phoebe.
Off and running in the World's Championship Quarter Horse Classic, a perfect start. Ducky Fred on the inside gets away well. 6er runner, Special Phoebe on the far outside. Pie's Royal Request down the center. I Hear a Symphony and treacherously on the far outside. Ducky Fred running a big one. 6er runner on the outside, and Special Phoebe. Special Phoebe, 6er runner coming to the wire. Special Phoebe to win the World's Championship Classic.
Special Phoebe wins her 3rd straight stake by a half length and ends the record-tying win streak of Pie's Royal Request. Special Phoebe, who appears ready to challenge tougher competition, is owned by Gwendolyn Ease, trained by Chris Odell. Casey Lambert was aboard as the daughter of Special Effort, raised her career earnings to over $115,000. As for Pie's Royal Request, who ran 7th, no excuses, jockey Larry Gomez said, he just got outrun by better horses. Grade 1 action now from California, the $200,000 Ed Burke Memorial Futurity. The 350-yard race featured a 3-horse entry for owner Ed Allred, but the favorite was Splash Back.
And the way they go in the Ed Burke Memorial Futurity and Coastal Classic stumbled at the start as Megastorm came away beautifully. Who darted down along the inside, just ducked inward, Dashing Melly. Splashbacks now coming on, and Coastal Classics recovered. Megastorm the leader, Splashback coming on fast on the outside. Megastorm and Dusty Simpson win the Ed Burke Futurity. Splashback second.
Megastorm, beaten by Splashback in their 2 previous meetings, gets his revenge and a $90,000 paycheck for owner Ed Allred. Dusty Simpson rode his first Grade 1 winner, while trainer Paul Price saddled his first stakes winner at Los Alamitos. Price also trains the third-place finisher, Coastal Classic, who finished well after stumbling at the start. Let's switch now to Sam Houston Race Park. It's the $21,060 American Quarter Horse Association Derby Challenge. The favorite, the 5-horse, Mars Blackman.
Off and running the AQHA Derby Challenge. Center of the track, Sexy Fern Sawyer came off sharply. There goes Victorious Moon as they come down the straight. Mars Blackman trying to get into it. Mars Blackman now getting to them as they come down the straightaway. Mars Blackman threatening to run away, but here comes PF Neutron Dance with Little Thunderheart. But it is Mars Blackman undefeated in Houston.
Mars Blackman puts away a solid field here by more than a length in the AQHA Derby Challenge. The winning time, 1993 for owner Jim Kelly and jockey Larry Layton. Mars Blackman now 11 of 14 in the win column with 4 of those victories over the Sam Houston surface. Senator Jerry Dobbs pointing him now to the Texas Classic later this summer and on to the AQHA Challenge of Champions at Rooney Park in November. As he's the winner of the Regional Derby Challenge, he gets the invitation. There was a world record set for 2-year-old quarter horses at Wyoming Downs this past Sunday. Let's take you to the rich $180,000 silver dollar futurity, 350 yards, and on the lead here, Juno Dat Honor. Carrying the silks of Princess Abigail Kawana in the course, she blazes at 350 yards, world record time, 17 and 19/100 seconds for a 2-year-old. Juno Dat ridden here by Clark Jones, trained by Lynn Melton. For more information on quarter horse racing, contact the AQHA, 1-800-414-RIDE. The Breeders' Cup Future Book is now open at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Here's the line for the $3 million Breeders' Cup Classic. Cigar the favorite, good price on Thunder Ghost, the Derby and Belmont winner. We asked Caesars' John Vidmar to explain how the Future Book works.
One of the exciting things about the Breeders' Cup Futures are that they offer fixed odds wagering at a particular point in time for the general public. And what we attempt to do is list as many possible starters as are currently known for each Breeders' Cup race. It's very simple. We have lists available in our race book, and if someone wants to place a wager in the Breeders' Cup Future, all they have to do is walk up to the race book counter, ask for the Breeders' Cup Futures, and we'll provide to them a list of each race that we're accepting bets on and all the horses that are currently listed. And if by chance a customer would like to see a horse in a particular race, then they can give that particular name to us. We'll research it and try to add it at the fairest price possible.
Racing to the Breeders' Cup continues this Saturday at Saratoga. The Whitney Handicap live at 4:30. The Racehorse Digest has been brought to you by the United States Trotting Association, leading the way in harness racing. By the Breeders' Cup, racing's year-round national stakes program. And by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 850 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. This has been a Winter Communications presentation in association with ESPN.